Hey, what's going on YouTube? Anaris here with another exciting StarCraft 2 broadcast. Today we are here continuing our best of series between oGsSKMC, the blue Protoss spawning on the right side of the map, facing off against EG.IdrA of Team Evil Geniuses, the Red Zerg over on the left, here today on GSL Dual Site. This is, of course, another replay from MLG Providence, and I am so happy to tell you guys the full replay pack was released on MLG's website, and let me just say, I'm so happy they do that. I mean, some tournaments don't release replays, and it can be difficult for viewers to catch them, videos on demand, etc. But the guys over at MLG are so very kind for releasing this material for us to watch. So, long live esports, man. Let me just tell you, we are in for a treat here as EG.IdrA is currently down 0-1 after quite an impressive performance from MC with that force field on the ramp play. Now, let me just talk about that for a second because I know there were some comments left in the previous video kind of questioning what I saw in that attack. The attack itself, admittedly, I think brilliant was too strong a word, but I think at the same time, some of you may not be taking into consideration the fact that MC pulled off such a flawless performance in EG.IdRA's base while defending against EG.IdRA's very, very aggressive attack with just blowing all of the infested Terrans at the same time. All of the Zerglings, I think I even saw a fungal or two in there. MC handled both of these things at the same time. And he handled them so well that he really minimized the amount of damage that EG.IdrA was able to do. The way he isolated all of the Zerglings with great force fields, keeping them locked into the left side of the screen while he dealt with the infested Terrans and the infestors. And of course, the Zerglings did get into the base eventually, but they weren't that big of an issue. MC was able to handle them very effectively. So here we are in game number 2 now, on a map that shares a few similarities with Xel'Naga Caverns. First of all, expansion. Pretty wide open, okay? 2 spawning areas as well. The distance is, I don't want to say exactly the same, but it's still pretty close when you actually get down to the loops that you have to take to get to the bases. A couple things that are different, though. Number one, the expansion itself, the position for the Nexus, we'll use MC's base as an example, is, I think, marginally, just a very small amount closer to the ramp. And also, one thing that I think another thing somebody was mentioning in the previous video's comments was that a spine crawler at the ramp would make things certainly a lot easier. Now, I kind of went off on a tangent with this a little bit, but something I noticed is that, oh, nice catch with MC dropping that pylon there, blocking that expansion, was, anyways, the creep actually ends up going up at a little bit of a steeper angle on Xel'Naga Caverns as it approaches the ramps, whereas here, it gets a little bit closer. So, again, not really something that would affect it too much, because by the time they reach that stage, probably going to have a creep tumor there anyways. But just something that I noticed is that a spine crawler over here can be a little bit closer to the ramp than on Xel'Naga Caverns. So anyways, back to the game. We look at MC's base. We see he opened up with a very typical play on this map, which is pretty much just a forge, fast, expand. We see he's also got the Gateway Cybernetics Core as well on the way. Working on double gas. He's probably going to be going with a Sentry Opener, something that's really light on the minerals until he can get his economy going. He knows that's also a very smart play because having seen EG.IdRA's build, the fast metabolic boost, I think he knows that EG.IdrA is going to be, looking to try to get some Zerglings in here, poke and prod around, and that's the purpose of these cannons and, of course, the force fields as well for when MC has them out. So we see that he's actually working on a Stalker right now. This target is actually fairly high priority. The earlier in the game that you can kill an Overlord, the bigger the impact it will have, but look at what EG.IdrA is planning on doing here. He knows that his opponent is going to be somewhat isolated for a little while, banking on getting his economy very strong very early. And we look at the income before we go 19-30, so a pretty big gap there, but EG.IdrA actually blowing up all of the cannons and almost catching all the probes with the Banelings. You see the Zerglings actually able to mop those up, coming in to try to clean up the rest of the probes. So look at the income now, 21-24. So All the while this is going on, EG.IdrA is just droning up hardcore, making up for the gap that has, he's gained so far as a result of going this Baneling build, and he's come ahead in a big way with a total of, 10 kills? Yeah, 10 worker kills from that. So that is actually going to be fairly huge here for EG.IdrA. As we look at the APM right now, 87 to 94, we are still in the very early stages of the game, but I know some people do like to find out that information, so I try to get that at least once in the early match. 30 to 26 now for the workers. We look at the units and we see 2 sentries, 1 stalker. I believe that, we do have a Stargate just started a second or two ago. But as far as MC is concerned now, I think he's in a pretty good spot. You see, he does have enough energy for quite a few force fields. I don't expect to see a repeat of what happened just a minute or two ago, especially since EG.IdrA, he's just trying to drone up right now. He's dropped down his third base right here, just went down a moment or two ago. He is keeping a couple Zerglings over here. This is pretty much just to make sure that no probes actually leave out on scouting expeditions. He does spot that Zealot and will be retreating back down. But at this stage, EG.IdrA does have very solid map control. You see, he has an Overlord here in position to eventually scout out the Protoss base when the time comes. He's also controlling both of the Xel'Naga watchtowers. And notice how MC is coming over here to check on this expansion and eventually heading up here as well. As we follow this rally path, we see he's just checking to see if EG.IdrA has anything hanging around, watching for Zerglings, watching for hatcheries, and of course, MC does have his own Zealot down here, checking for this hatchery. He spots it. He knows, okay, this third base has gone up. EG.IdrA has just pretty much been in heavy macro mode. That's actually, pretty much what this says at this point. I don't think I've seen a unit actually go down to the natural. No, it has not, but you can bet that MC knows that an expansion's there. I mean, he knows EG.IdrA's caliber of play, so he's anticipating this being his third base. We notice that also a Void Ray is just about complete. This will be the second one here. And a robotics facility just about done as well. So he is going to be able to get out and observer here fairly quickly. He's got to watch out, though, because, EG.IdrA does have this evolution chamber right here. Also, Weapons 1 just about complete. And going into Tier 2 now, we have seen that the gas has started to come in a little bit more for EG.IdrA as he's going to be probably transitioning. We see he's got a lot of roaches here, so we can expect to see that. As far as what unit is going to complement the roach, it's going to kind of depend on what he scouts out that his opponent has, which we see right here he's got a few Void Rays. Now, this isn't really, you see he's forcing a pretty decent amount of Spore Crawlers here. We've got 4 of them on the way, 2 more Queens as well. But still, I don't really know for a fact, or I don't really know for sure, how that's going to affect EG.IdrA's actual unit composition in the later stages of the game. Really, again, it's going to kind of depend on what else MC decides to throw down. So as far as MC is concerned, this air harassment is actually opening up a couple different avenues for him. It is forcing EG.IdrA to get a lot of anti-air, which is obviously going to hurt, or just a little bit, his ground defenses, simply just because of the fact that he's had to, you can only dedicate 1 drone to build 1 building at a time. 1 spine crawler is on the way. This is a very smart move, actually. But several hundred minerals being dedicated to anti-air, that means that we can pretty much rule out any sort of Dark Templar harassment for the mid to late stages of the game for the established expansions. We do have these Void Rays and Phoenix continuing to bat around and just look for any openings that they can find. Now, we do have that Warp Prism somewhere around here. Yeah, here it is with 4 sentries, and it looks like he is going to be, again, just trying to do a repeat of game number 1, which at this stage of the game, looking at the units tab, 9 roaches, 4 queens, 5 zerglings. He's not prepared for this at all. He has such a large amount of anti-air at this stage. Whole bunch of queens as well. He is working on getting some roaches up. He's also got a spire on the way as well, but it's just not going to be enough. MC has total air superiority. He's got the high ground, and he's got these force fields, which, again, he's just going to be able to hang up here all day long with this Warp Prism. There's just really not a lot that EG.IdrA can do about this, and that's what makes this play so powerful. If you get it at the appropriate time, which MC has, there is very little the Zerg can do about it unless he has, basically planned for this. See, he does have the Spore Crawler over here. He could try to move in a Spore Crawler down and, get it into position of this Warp Prism. With the 6-second burrow time, just getting it barely out of range might be feasible, but then again, you gotta remember, MC would be all over that. The second he sees that, he's like, oh, okay, well, no, I can just move my Warp Prism away, or I can, just come up here and kill you with my 18,000 sentries. And, oh, by the way, those roaches you've got down there, yeah, just go ahead and send them to my base. I really don't care that much. And now we look over here and we see he's got 2 Immortals ready to defend. And honestly, yeah, there's the GG right there. Yeah, MC would not have had a problem cleaning that up as long as he microed these Immortals, because there's such a huge amount of stuff, just clutter, Nexus Cannon, Gateway or Warp Gate between the Roaches and the Immortals. The Immortals having a 2 range difference, 6 compared to 4 for the Roaches, that they would just be able to outrange and hang around, and by the time EG.IdrA actually made it to the Immortals, there wouldn't be much of an army left. So, good call there by EG.IdrA, really nothing he could do. Very good game from both of these players, and wow, that is just a lot of stuff canceled. But, yeah, definitely win goes to MC for a job well done. EG.IdrA, same thing for you as well, buddy. Definitely did a great performance. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game, enjoyed the series overall. I'm going to be continuing my coverage of MLG Providence. If you want to be notified of the new videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button on top of the video. Also, keep on putting out stuff on my second channel as well. You'll find a link in the annotation if you want to check that out. And as far as StarCraft 2 goes, I will see you in the next video.